Hello and welcome to Dancers Support Mission by Sabine for Shine Your Light. This is a new episode of Dancer to Dancer, Words of Wisdom. But today, this is a very different kind of episode because I wanted to do a trilogy with first we had Sandra, then we had Giuseppe individually, and then I wanted to have a special interview for the project that they had together that they created about 10 years ago, 2015, right? So I thought what they created was so inspiring and so uplifting, for young dancers that I really wanted to hear much more about it, and also to give some information for anybody who would be, interested to join your journey. So I don't know who wants to start talking, but would you like to talk to us about the Hope for Dance that you created together?
Hi, Sabine, welcome.
Yes, hello, Sabine.
Yeah, sorry, welcome.
Sandra will start.
The most important.
And then, as normal, we will join each other.
Okay.
To explain things. So, yeah, I mean, coming both from a professional dance career, I think more me than Giuseppe. When I was young already, I had this feeling that I might one day want to be a teacher. Giuseppe didn't necessarily have that aspiration at first, but then later, thanks to me, he figured out that he actually really enjoys teaching. When we started to move from Canada to Italy, we had this wish of sharing our knowledge with the world, but specifically with Rimini, where we were in Italy. And we didn't at that moment have the idea to immediately start our own ballet school. We had the idea of bringing a professional division into another already existing school, a collaboration. And we tried that for several years, and we had some very nice experiences, but we had also some very difficult experiences, because when you enter into a school that already exists for 30, 40 years, coming in with your new ideas, as good as they might be, it's not so easy to integrate those. So we kind of learned that with time, with blood, sweat, and tears also at times. And then we started the Percorso Accademico, our professional division, which we then brought into our own ballet school in Rimini, which we opened about 8 years ago. So 10 years ago, we started the first project of Hope for Dance, the professional division. 8 years ago, a little bit over 8 years ago, we started Hope. It came to me into a dream. I woke up in the night and I said, Giuseppe, I have a name for a school, for our school. We had just changed schools and students didn't want to leave us. They wanted to stay with us. So we were like, okay, well, let's see if we can find a place, if we can find a space to work with them. And the name Hope for Dance came to me. Hope for Dance stands also for High Opportunity Performance Education, which is literally how we strongly feel about when we have students here. It's an opportunity for students to study dance at a high level in Rimini. We could have gone anywhere. We could have gone teach and work in many academies all over the world. We chose not to. We chose to bring it to Italy, to bring ourselves closer to the families, but also to bring our knowledge to students, to young students who don't have the opportunity to study in an academy or in a conservatory here in Rimini, and to give them the opportunity to study at a high level, but to stay within their families. So we opened Hope with courses that are also amateur courses. We have amateur courses for children from about the age 5, 6 and up. They can do once or twice a week ballet, contemporary theater. Then we have Percorso Accademico, the professional division. Those are students who come in by audition with the goal of wanting to become a professional dancer one day, whether it's classical ballet or contemporary or a mix. We will help them guide and find their own journey. And we have wonderful adults who also come and take ballet class with us. We have beginners, we have intermediate level, we have advanced level adults who do point work and repertoire. So we are an all-round school, but the percorso academico is something we really brought from abroad, from our own experience as professional young students and dancers. Hope for Dance is really a formula of any international academy that you could find abroad.
It's a beautiful name. I love the, hope for dance. I mean, beside the fact that it's high opportunity performance education, what does hope mean for you? In which way is that hope for dance?
You want to explain?
Well, like Sandra said, not everybody has the opportunity to leave very young their family to go to an academy. And the goal of this school is as well to bring our students to the end of their normal school, so to the high school until they're 18, and give them the opportunity to have two different directions in life. If they want to, they can go on with school or they can go on with ballet. What nowadays we have opportunity for two different careers at the age of 18, it's wonderful. And so that's we bring in the hope to help them to get to this level without have to leave their school, their families, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Right.
That's a big
also,
point, huh? Because it's
yeah, and also for students who don't want to become professional dancers, dance is for everybody. So the hope for dance is for anybody who wants to experience the joy of dancing. We are the place, whether it's children, whether it's adults. It's about
and do
sharing.
it at their highest level, right? Not just
even though you are exactly, it's the same type of teachers, the same formula. Of course, who wants to start a professional career has different hours, has different amount of package. The package deal is much bigger. The hours, the courses, the pressure, they have to deal with a lot more things. But dance is for everybody. So hope for dance, it really means dance is for everybody.
Okay. And how would you say that each of your careers have affected you in being a teacher? Because I guess, some people are a reflection of their whole career, and some people are held back by all the traumas they've experienced. And, like, in which way, what kind of a teacher are you both? How would you qualify yourself?
Okay. So let's start with that one. Okay. So I think both me and Giuseppe, in our careers, we've had to deal with struggles. We were both very talented young dancers, which were immediately also given very, very important opportunities because of our talent. By having been thrown in those opportunities, not necessarily having been guided at a psychological level, or even, how to be prepared as an athlete, because dance in our mind is both art, but you're also an athlete, you're a top athlete. We had struggles. We had struggles with injuries. We had struggles with, when as a young girl, you start to change your physique, how you're looking at your body, how you are working with your body or not, to the point of becoming even autodestructive at times, each in our own way. But I think both of us, we found our career literally by being perseverant, by being always people who stay true to ourselves, not walking over anybody else. We never had issues with looking at other dancers and go, wow, you're beautiful. So how can I now become like you or better? There was never nastiness. There was always passion for dance. There was always the curiosity to learn more, to find different styles, different ways. But we had to deal with a lot of struggles. And I think those struggles helped us later to understand how to be better teachers. Me, myself, I remember a literal moment when I was 14. I was standing in the conservatory in The Hague. There was a big alley going to the big studio, and I was standing there, and something had just happened that was really painful, hurtful. And I remember stopping and thinking, why is this necessary? I don't believe it has to be this way. I don't think as a teacher you need to be like that in order to sometimes even push children down in a certain way. Not that they always did that, but there was a particular moment that happened. And I was thinking by myself, I'm going to do that differently one day. I'm going to show the world that when you are a teacher, you can do this differently. You can be motivating. You can tell your students that they're beautiful. You can guide them and help them. And I remember a seed was planted in me then, that one day I was going to be a different teacher. I remember that very clearly.
And that takes a lot of work too, though, because, you know, it's not only, we all say, oh, I'll never do it like this. And then very often, even in life, I mean, I see that with children, you know, you're like, if you, I mean, I have one only, but it's like you think you're going to do all different. And then you see yourself do some things the same and you understand why it's been done like this. You know what I mean? So it takes a lot of self-work to also get over those obstacles and really choose, I mean, with your heart to do differently, I think, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as for people as watch maybe my interview, I had a lot of injuries due to also this, to the fact that I was pushed very soon and with a lot of happiness, because of course, who doesn't want to, of course. But
yeah, it could appear as a gift, but it's a
yeah, exactly.
poison gift, you know, in a way.
But I got injured quite a lot because of that. What, as Sandra said, not being really always guided, also because maybe people doesn't have time to stay behind you all the time, especially in a company.
And sometimes they don't understand
never,
it, Giuseppe. You know, that's more the problem.
Yeah.
They cannot understand what you're going through.
I don't understand. So I had to learn with time to change the way I was approaching my work by myself. I start to realize this doesn't work this way. So I start to become way more aware of how I was working and what my technique was, because with the talent, I could throw everything in without too overthinking what I was supposed to be doing technically, because it was so much easier for me. And I had to step back and relearn how to move my body, understand where I was making mistake and why. And that taught me a lot. So now I'm trying to, with teaching, to bring this into my class and to make the answers aware of their body, their mistake, and when they have injury, how to deal with the injury, also psychologically, how to feel it in their body, not just go to the phys and then do everything like normal. You have to think about it.
We're all different, so it's going to be different for every. That's why it's so interesting to have very personalized teaching, you know, because it's not one rule for everybody. It's everybody's so different, and everybody's going to react differently to what is happening.
I think that's a big strength of our teaching, is that we work with each child or each adult, whichever we have, individually as well. We guide them in a group. They learn to work together. They work to learn in a group, to respect each other, to deal, you know, with issues there too. But at the same time, there is a lot of attention for their individual process. And our experiences, both with injuries, with difficulties, that we both learn to overcome by ourselves, because, you know, for example, in the conservatory where I was, there was everything. There was the psychologist, the nutritionist, the physiotherapist, but going there meant you were already broken. You were already
stigmatized
with problems. You were already with a stigma. So there was a lot of shame going to any of these people. While we now teach our students that when you want to be a top dancer or a professional dancer, but even not, if you want to take care of your body for normal daily life, you have all these people around you that you should use. Why not go to a massage therapist and have a deep tissue massage to prevent injuries? Or instead of going to a physiotherapist, when you twist your ankle, go before, prevent, go before, make sure that your physique is in balance. Anybody of us is going through periods of difficulty, mental issues, whether it's because of problems in the family or love life or whatever. why not go to a psychologist and talk about it and figure out ways to help yourself? We work with a professional sports psychologist who not necessarily works with the children because they're having already issues, but to prevent how to deal with the workload, school and dance together, how to deal with jealousy, how to deal with fear on stage, you know, how to communicate with each other when there are group dynamics that don't work.
When the group dynamics, you know,
Yeah.
learn how to deal with group dynamics is important. Work together every day.
Yeah, exactly. And how to communicate to us teachers when there's a problem. And then how to learn to trust yourself. What is your instinct? What do you feel? Do you think this is a moment to push, or is this the moment to take a step back? Slowly, the older they're getting, we will help them in that too, because we won't be there always. So they have to learn to trust themselves and make the right decisions in their own lives, working with choreographers and teachers and directors who sometimes don't have time to listen to you. If there's something important, you make the time, you make sure you're being heard, but most of all, you respect you, your body, and what are your limits. And that's a big
empower
part of
yourself, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I find it's so crucial to do that. And I've seen, you know, in big schools, as you say, Sandra, even still now, everything is in place, but it's still a lot of, you know, for them to jump the step instead of going like, oh yeah, something is not going well, I need to sort it out with this person and, you know, and then get it over with. It's so much work to, you know, like mental work to accept, to, you know, and yeah, it's progressing, but it's quite slow. And mostly it comes with a, you know, there is an injury, there is a big problem, and this is where you confront it to your problem. I mean, that's life in general, but it's true that learning to do that already as something natural will help a lot, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think especially when you're working, you know, talking about children who want to make this their career, you're working with your body. I mean, we as teachers, every day we look at them, and whatever they feel mentally, psychologically, emotionally, it reflects in your body.
The way you dance.
It's impossible not to take also care of that part. That's something that I just don't understand. How can you work with a person and not take into consideration what's going on in their normal life? How are their family situations? Are they good in their body? Are they not good in their body? Do they hate themselves? Do they love themselves? Like, it will have such an effect on what they do every day. So there is no way for us to teach without taking into consideration that. I mean, the first thing we do when a class starts is pass by every child or adult, look them in the eye and say, how are you doing? And if they say, good, and you see that little thing in their eye that they're like, Pinocchio, so tell me what's going on, you know? Or they say, we're good. And you're like, okay, you're good. Because if you just even start with that superficial knowledge about how they feel, and also for them to have the trust to say, today I'm tired. And then you can just say to them, okay, you know what? You're tired. That's fine. Listen to your body. But in the end, you'll be able to do a lot more than you think you can, but with intelligence. And there starts already the psychological help. It sometimes takes 2-3 words.
But sometimes also we, in the same class, we modify exercise for some students because of the recovery, or because they at school during the gym class they got hurt or something. And in the beginning, they don't want to do that because they feel like a punishment. They cannot do whatever everybody else does in class. And we say, no, it's exactly the opposite. If you have to take care of what you're doing, take it easy, and then maybe tomorrow, the day after, you can do that again. It helps you to come back faster. Otherwise, you may risk to get worse, and then it takes longer. And so learning that modifying something sometimes it's better than pushing 100%.
Yeah.
Because it makes recovery faster.
Yeah.
And that's also a good lesson, because the beginning is extremely difficult, especially with very ambitious
I mean,
kids.
Not being able to dance like your other classmates on a psychological level is so difficult, to the point that they can get really into depression. it most likely will happen. Somebody who has a longer term injury will go into some kind of a depression. And we as teachers who understand that feeling, together in great communication with physiotherapists, with the orthopedic doctor, with potential psychologists, and with the parents, we can help these children a lot, because these children are being helped in a safety net of teachers, medical professionals, and parents, where they know, okay, they have moments where they can be strong, moments where they can be weak, but they are sustained on a 360 degree.
And what everybody says goes to the same direction. So they realize that, okay, that's normal. The physio says that, my mom says that, my teacher says that. So, okay, I need to trust. And
that is very important, actually.
Because if they get mixed messages, then they choose whatever is more comfortable for them. And sometimes it's not always the right choice. So to be united as a team and with the parents in what is the goal and how to guide them, it makes them learn faster certain things. And sometimes we struggle, but at the end of the day, it works, because at the end they learn that is the right direction to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is something.
Sorry, Sandra.
No, go ahead.
No, coming back on what you said earlier, you know, that just teach. No, it's not even teaching, but it's remembering people what it is that they feel, because we are educated in a system where we don't even know what we feel. You know, it's like, because it doesn't count. It's not taken into consideration. It's not evaluated. It's just, it's on the side. And when you start putting that on the plate, first they're all very, you know, they're very embarrassed and everything, but then it becomes like it's a, I mean, you can open up. I mean, you can feel, I mean, this is what we are. I mean, this is one of the biggest thermometer in our bodies, our feelings, you know. So if we don't know where we're at in there, we get stuck, you know.
Absolutely. And I think that as teachers, in any school, private or academy, I think we cannot make dancers. We can just help young students to refine or find the best of themselves. Because as much as we guide them, especially in the first years, because they come to us in the professional division at the age of 9, 10, and then they leave at the age of 17, 18, 19, they're very guided, they're very protected, but at the same time, the older they get, the more we also start to take our hands off, but not because we're not there for them. They can fall, they can make mistakes, but it's about telling them, what do you want? Where would you like to audition? Where would you like to dance? What type of a dancer would you like to be? Where do you see yourself? Is it realistic or not? Go figure it out. You get a no, okay, what does that do to you? Like, more and more we teach them to trust themselves, so that whenever they go then abroad into the professional dance world, they are able to stand on their own feet, because they've learned that there are people around them that can help them. They've learned to ask for help. They've learned to listen to themselves. They're humble enough to also say, okay, you know what, I'm not ready for this, but let me figure it out. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do this. Maybe the others are much better, much stronger, but I know I can get there. And all our students who have finished our Percorso Accademico in Hope for Dance, they've all had opportunities to go abroad or in Italy in high-level places, and they've all done well. The kids who have actually gone abroad into a professional journey of prestigious academy or junior company or company, they have done well. The feedback that we get back from directors is they are such lovely people to work with. They are open-minded, they learn, they are able to take corrections, they ask questions, they are nice with the other people, they're hard workers, and they know their place.
They're balanced.
That's not little.
Yeah. Sorry, Sandra, I cut you off, but what did you say?
No, I mean,
I didn't
just
hear
to say that, you know, we don't have necessarily immediately the most fantastic physical talents who come to Hope for Dance. Not yet. But the people, some have beautiful physiques, but that doesn't mean that they can make a career out of that. there's a lot more involved than just having the physical talent or being an artistic person. It takes a whole package of strengths and how to deal with your talent to become a professional dancer, but in life in general, not just as dancers. All the people that we had that actually became professional dancers, not necessarily were they the most talented physiques. They had difficulties with maybe their feet or their ensemble, their turnout. Maybe they had also difficulties with being extremely shy people or people who had learning disabilities. But dance, taught in the right way, help them overcome all those issues, find something that they felt they were good at, that made them feel home, that made them feel special. And the passion and the determination that they then found with our help, that brought them to make those incredible successes. Not just the fact that they learned how to do plié tendu in
of course. I mean, they have to learn to be human beings, right?
Yeah, and who they are also as human being and artists.
Also, even our best dancers, the one we at that year or those years are the top level of their class. In our school, we don't create star system. They're all the same. Most of the time in shows, they all do the same. That helps them when they go abroad, because I've seen it, that you have seen it as well, even in company. Sometimes kids arrive in academy and in companies thinking they are the biggest star ever because in their school they were the biggest star, and then they come to face to a reality that everybody else who was there was the biggest star of their school, and so they're start all over again. And then some people can take it, and people cannot take it, and they crash.
It's the other side, huh? It's like you were put up like this, but if you're put down, I mean, either way, it's really painful.
So that's why they have to learn who they are and what they're capable of and what it took them to get there. So they understand that to achieve something you can, but you have to work. And you have to work with intelligence. Not everything is given.
And sometimes they receive a no, like somebody maybe who is not ready yet for a soloist role. They get a no, and then oftentimes you get, parents go like, but why, we pay for the course and she should have the same experience. Yes, they all will have the same experience, meaning they all will have opportunities to do solo roles on stage to grow. But if it's not the right time in our mind for your child to do this, it can become a very negative experience. They can become, really afraid, or they can fall, or they can make mistakes that they're not mentally ready for. Not that you can't overcome mistakes, but we also sometimes say, wait a year, next year with more, personal strength, she will or he will do really great. Or sometimes somebody will get to do a solo, and that's also not easy, because if you're the only one in a group who gets to do a solo and the others not, sometimes they want to make themselves smaller because they don't like the fact that their classmates maybe make them feel bad, or there's jealousy. There too, they have to be guided to be strong and to be, doing their path. If they're ready for something more, this is your time. So there is so much psychology involved. It's incredible. It's incredible. And I just can't believe that also in professional academies, things still happen like, I don't know, you need to lose 5 kilos in a month. If not, you're gonna have to leave the school. But then they don't tell the child how, or they don't give them the right tools to do it in the right way. So, or to say to a child in front of their classmates, you're not good enough, or you're not beautiful enough, you're fat, or you're... Unfortunately, these things still happen. I mean, children are being
if we lose the competition, the group competition, if we lose the competition, it's your fault because you're fat.
Oh,
I've heard that with my own ear.
We've heard that.
You can't do that.
It's just the things that teachers say. You can destroy a person's life forever. Then can they maybe with help get out of it? Most likely, yes. But our role as teachers is so important. Delicate. Because most students look up to us more than their parents.
Sometimes.
If we say something, they will probably take it. If a parent says it, they will go, nah, you don't understand shit. But so our role as teachers oftentimes is maybe even more important than what they hear at home. And that's also why it's so important that we have communication with the parents, that the parents understand what we do and why, that they are with us, that they understand our methods, that if a child comes home crying, that they can say, because I already phoned the mother and say, you know, this happened today, just so you know, this is the reason why, that the parent can say, you know what, but I understood that maybe there's this reason or that reason, so just be quiet, you know, you'll find a way, you find your way, it will be your time. The communication with parents is something that in many academies is not done. And I wouldn't know how to do it without that.
So with this in mind, what would be your message for teachers then, you know? You have
well,
any?
first of all, that you have in your hands all those precious souls that are so vulnerable and so delicate, that look up to you. So whatever you say, and sometimes you even don't think you say something that could hit a child in a wrong way, but we have to be so aware of what we say and how we say it. And we have to be extremely aware that us as teachers, we are, as you said before, we are not bitter about our past, that we bring in our love for dance. Whatever has happened in the past that was maybe difficult, we have worked through that, so that we don't teach on a personal level with our personal baggage, but we are able to also have that distance. Use our personal information to be the best teacher that you can be, in order to help the children to become the best they can be in life, whether it's dance or not. I mean, the dance education is going to make them better people anyways, because what we learn, what we teach in the dance world is so big.
And to look at their student to be more like their tiny human being. They have
not
feelings,
adults,
they have difficulty, they have
Ask them how they
moment of
feel.
stress in school. For example, here school is hours and hours and hours a day, and they have put so much pressure on them. So to try to understand, it's not easy, because Sandra, she's better than me in that. You can't, you know, I remember being told so many times, dance and shut up. That was everything I got. Maestro, but no, dance and shut up. Okay. But sometimes you need to listen. You know, sometimes dance and shut up can work for a specific moment or reason, but in general, we need to listen more to the kids, because they will give you a lot more as well.
Yeah. Plus, they have sometimes ideas that you're just flabbergasted. It's just so cool to see things from their point of view. I mean, we oftentimes, you know, let them choreograph and let them think about the idea of a choreography or a performance, because when they start to feel part of that, the creativity opens. And I mean, we have many ideas, but they have many fantastic ideas too. And it becomes, again, a collaboration. So they feel also part of their journey. Not always is it like that. Not always dance can be a democracy. No. That's not the case. But there is moments where you can really give time to the children to sit them down and go, okay, what's going on? How do you feel? And what is the solution? Bring me solutions. Then we can give them advice. But again, there, you know, the communication with each other, the communication with us, something that now with the telephones and everything, it's not done. Communication in the end is key to everything. So communicate with your students and listen to them. I think those are very important key things. Yeah,
absolutely. So Sandra, I just want to touch quickly on your soul dance program a little bit, because, you know, could you do that in a short, in a shorty?
I call it soul dance because it's something that I started to do for myself. In all my life, I've done, you know, I was trained as a classical ballet dancer, but then of course there was contemporary. I started to do many other styles, salsa, tango, Tai Chi. I started to work with in mindfulness. I learned so much in my life that I brought to me to feel better as a person and as a dancer and to learn to deal with life. And actually this started in the pandemia when I was home and we couldn't go anywhere. And I would just at one point put music on and I started dancing for myself. And there were days that I'd be bawling my eyes out and I would just let it happen. And there were days that I'd be laughing so much, I would, almost piss myself. But let's say that all the emotions that I had, I let them out through dance. And I realized then and there that was such an incredible power that I gave to myself, that then more and more we started to bring to our students also coming back from the pandemic and during the pandemic. And then slowly, I started to bring those informations to the students. Like sometimes if we saw them really, really tired, I would sit them down and I would start to teach them self-massage, how to get in contact with your body again. I did a course also, with somebody in Canada who taught me a lot about, body and mind awareness. And so we started to implement all those things with our students. And more I started to make it part of my class, to the point where I was like, today I'm gonna just give it a shot and do an hour of just that. Basically, I put music that's all kinds of eclectic music and I let it go for an hour and I move with them, and according to their mind, their state of mind in that day, which I will ask at the beginning of the class, I start to try and bring them back into their bodies, back to joy, back to acceptance, back to feeling beautiful. And so I use my voice as well as exercises, rhythm, lots of just getting the energy out, and sometimes very silent and very quiet. And the whole goal is at the end of this class to just feel in contact with yourself, a release of emotion, acceptance, and whatever happened, it's good.
And also energized, because when I do it, I feel always
I sound like
much more energy at the end, energized.
Yeah, and I just started to give it the name.
Things deblock in your body,
Exactly.
so energy flows better.
And I called it soul dance because that was the first name that came to me. And I do it with children, I do it with adults, and more it starts to become something that they're asking for. And I have to find a way how to handle my own energy, because I give a lot also in those classes. So I'm still researching it, but it's an interesting style and course.
Okay, guys, we have to wrap this up. I mean, I think we could talk for another 3 hours, but
Yes.
I can only say, if you have a kid and you want to send him to a special school, just send him or her to Sandra and Giuseppe. He'll be taken care of fully on every levels. Thank you guys so much for your beauty and your kindness. And I hope we see each other very soon.
Thank you.